all the headlines this morning are about Liverpool, Andoni Iraola on a new 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Is this a return to the sort of heavy metal football, do you think?
Well, he's certainly under pressure to do that, isn't he?
Yeah.
By all accounts. And I think he will. Interesting to see how things go there, because I think the fans and obviously everybody will be monitoring the situation and probably will be expecting a return to the heavy metal football. However, I just think that most of the fans will be hoping to get back to a better level and a better standard that they can watch, because they were disappointed, weren't they? Particularly last season. And it's going to be interesting, obviously, losing key players, like every club does, effectively, but really key players, Salah and Robertson, to name a couple. It's going to be a very interesting season for Liverpool, actually.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's going to be a massively demanding job for him, I think. And obviously, they've, we
mentioned yesterday, Jeff, he's really likeable as well.
Massively likeable. Everybody, I think, most football fans, will wish him well. They'll hope he'll do well. He's got a connection with Richard Hughes, of course. Look, if you want to be picky, and we've talked about it before, club of this size, demands success. His only trophy so far in his career is the Cypriot Super Cup.
Yeah.
So...
Well, you did ask me something yesterday that kind of resonated with me. Should they have done it earlier and kind of maybe gone for Alonso? That'd have been an interesting one, wouldn't it?
It would.
I bet there's one or two Liverpool supporters asking that very question.
Yeah.
But listen, there's no way we can kind of prejudge things before, we see what happens. But it is an interesting one. But you'd have thought Alonso would have been the automatic replacement, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so. But look, Iraola's done nothing but impress down on the South Coast.
Correct.
And amongst those impressed, Alan Pardew, who explained last night just what makes the Spanish manager so great.
One thing that was really, really good about Bournemouth this year, when they come up against the better sides, your Man Cities, your Arsenals, and that, they had a real go, and that a real good kind of tactical go. I mean, it's all well and good kind of having a team that's hyped up and ready for the game, but tactically they found weaknesses in those top teams and played very well against them, and obviously had this unbeaten run towards the end. He's very much the favourite. I think there's no doubt about that, and the link you'll make with Hughes is absolutely correct.
Pat from Oxford said, I don't support Liverpool, but in my opinion, Iraola is one of the best coaches in the Premier League, as long as he gets the egos on board, and there are some big egos, he says, at Liverpool right now. With his philosophy of the game, he'll bring attractive winning football back to Anfield and success with it. And he talks about the creating camaraderie at the club as well. And I get that, probably more difficult at a big club like Liverpool rather than Bournemouth. And of course, he's in the hands, isn't he, of their transfer dealings. And I remember at Bournemouth him saying quite openly, he said, I'm just the coach. I don't buy the players. I just coach them. So I think, and that's probably useful, because I think that's going to be the case at Liverpool.
I know that, but I still find that's the old dinosaur in me, if you like. I find it remarkable. I do. I mean, I get it. I get times move on, but I just find it remarkable in a day and age. I was always brought up with the manager, picking the players, and I'm still of the opinion that should be certainly part of the route and the way forward, because if effectively it's the manager's job that's on the line and not the person picked the players, I mean, that's the kind of strange one, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd have thought automatically the man responsible for picking the players and using them would be responsible for the job, from his job, and live and die by it, if you like. So anyway, but that's the way it is. I think it's interesting. I think as you say, Jeff, he's done an exceptional job at Bournemouth. They were great to watch, and you think of the players they're lost in terms of transfers, centre backs and Semenyo and 4 or 5, they moved on and they managed to keep a really strong side. But you're right about one thing: it's a different level of pressure on them now.
Yeah,
a club that's expected to be winning championships and winning cups.
I mean, Jamie Carragher's been talking on the overlap in the last couple of days, and he's raised some concerns about Iraola's appointment as well. He says it almost feels a year too early. I look at it and think, can I see this man winning the league for this club? And I get that point. But on the other hand, can you see Enzo Maresca winning the league? It is first season for Manchester City. You just don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Listen, it's our job to sit here and forecast and guess, and that's exactly what we're doing. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know. What we've all got an opinion on, is, I still think it's an interesting decision when Alonso was available. And you can guarantee that if it doesn't work, and I hope it does, that's the one thing that Liverpool fans will be saying. Why did we not go for Alonso when he was available?
Yeah. Yeah, again, I think we said it yesterday. I mean, it tells me that at Liverpool, the plan was to stick with Arne Slot.
Yeah.
And maybe they've told Alonso that, and that's why he's gone to Chelsea. Yeah. And then something has happened, maybe player power, whatever, which has meant they've changed tack and they've gone for Iraola. Look, he's a fantastic, I think, charismatic, charming man.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody, I'm sure, will wish him well next season. I'll tell you what he does do, though, is if Jamie Carragher's right, it's a year too early, it does not bode well for Arsenal, doesn't it? Goodness.
Well, I was about to say the same thing. I mean, I think Arsenal will be interesting to see what happens, but we spoke about it yesterday, probably at great length. I don't think Arsenal will rest back and sit in their laurels. I think they will strengthen from a position of strength, which is what you should do. And I think they'll do it, Jeff. I think they'll go out. They'll particularly strengthen that left-hand side in the forward position, in the centre-forward position as well.
Yeah.
They're not going any weaker, Arsenal, that's for sure.
Let's head to the phone lines and speak to a Liverpool fan. It's Scott. Morning, Scott.
Morning, Scott.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we? Is okay?
We're fine, Scott. How about yourself,
What do you think about Iraola then?
Do you know what, Jeff? Ali, like anything, when someone takes over at Liverpool, you welcome them with open arms for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I think we definitely need to get back to a base where manager rules. One of the things on Liverpool fans is, we've always tried to worship our managers and stuff in relation that they're the number one. I think there's a couple of things for me in relation to where we are, and I know about us obviously talk about his backroom staff coming with him. But I think in all seriousness, for some of the stuff you've been hearing, which much to add a little bit about it, because I do think a couple of our players need pulling in and need reining in. I would just desperately try and get someone like James Milner back in there just to support in relation to some of the standard side of things. And that'll give him an even better head start, in my opinion. And I know they always want their own people, but I just think with him retiring, something like that needs to probably happen at Liverpool. Because I just think we've got the quality there, but I definitely think one or two have got a little bit too big for the boots as well, which probably hasn't helped the manager along the way. The previous manager, I should say.
It's amazing that, Scott, because effectively, I don't know, right? But I actually agree with you. It kind of looks that way. There was a kind of air maybe about that dressing room, which, I couldn't get my head round, and I think you make a valid point, but the bottom line is I don't know, but it certainly looked that way. What about the appointment itself? Were you a little bit surprised regarding Alonso, Scott?
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you, Ali, right? I genuinely thought there was a little outside chance. Look, my first one I wanted was Luis Enrique for obvious reasons.
Yes.
And when they won on Saturday, and when that happened on Saturday, I thought there's maybe a little bit of an outside chance here, because he said, hasn't he, about he wanted to manage in the Premier League, and he's won 2 trebles, whether that. So I'm not going to lie, my first choice for obvious reasons will be him. Yeah. Now, this lad coming in, he's young, he's enthusiastic, and all that type of stuff, but he's not won anything yet. He's not done 3 games in a week yet. So they're all being his challenges, and the type of football he plays, don't get me wrong, will have us in our seats. And, the lads, I'm lucky enough, I go with a good group of lads to the away games as well. And, some of the stuff, thankfully, we've got a good group, because we've had a ball on the bus when we've been that bad of late because of the footy. So, he'll have a full pre-season. He'll get everything that he needs off us in relation to support. But, don't get me wrong now, and Jeff, all manager appointments are risks. Do you know what I mean? But they are. But normally, I'd like to think, he gets off with a decent start, gets a little bit of momentum behind him. But look, I love watching Bournemouth. And if I'm honest with you, those included, by the way, I don't think the quality in the league was great last year. But Bournemouth were good on the eye go. Bournemouth, you enjoyed watching, and they did overachieve.
Yeah.
And I know, look, it's the old adage for me as well, as you look at some of the players. Use Kirkes, for example. We were made up when we got him from Bournemouth because he was the best fullback. But the shirt, gets a little bit heavier when you put a Liverpool shirt on. Do you know what I mean? So when you go in the Liverpool dugout, it probably becomes a little bit more, you know, ooh, this is a little bit more challenging than what it is in the Bournemouth dugout. So,
Oh, we lost you, Scott. Such a good call.
Yeah, it was a great call.
Thanks,
Thanks,
very
Scott.
much indeed.
Great
Mate.
call.
I agree with a lot of things that,
very good.
he said there, you know, and
Never going to argue anything there.
yeah, Andoni Iraola, a lot of Liverpool fans will be looking forward to seeing his team next season. That is for sure.